me, and I'm like, man, these guys can't even give me credit. Them two guys don't give me credit for crap. So after last night, I was like, forget, I ain't fine. I ain't saying anything to them about women or nothing. That they're just gonna do what they're gonna do, and no more chips. And then it was these other girls. I guess they were from Brazil, and it was one girl, African girl, and she was the darkest. She looked okay. It was another girl that was mixed, and she was like light skinned. She was mixed. She was real fine. And then there was this other, I guess, white Brazilian girl. She was real fine, had a big old butt on her. And there was this other girl, because she was Brazilian, but she was skinny. And so one of my friends, he was just trying to talk, and these girls was shutting him down. And I said, what you got to do is you got to go over there and show them, and I'll dance them. That's all you got to do. He said, no, that's not going to work. I'm like, I'm telling you, it works every time. You got to show him. So he wasn't listening. So then one girl came over by my brother, and I guess they were talking. He said something to her, and she said something to him. And I guess she said something smart, and he said something smart too. And then she started dancing like, ooh, I can get all busy. You can't handle it with me. And I looked at her, and she was like, kind of looked at me like, what you looking at? Or she said something like, what you looking at? And I said, I could do that too. And she was like, what? And so I started doing it. She was like, oh, well, you good. And, but then, I had left. But she had ended up going back and talking to my brother like 2 more times. And then after that, what happened? After that, so my friend, he was still over there trying to talk to these girls and stuff. So I told him, I said, man, all you gotta do is go over there and dance like you're getting busy, and they will come to you. So they didn't think of it, they didn't do it. So it was this one brother over there, he like an afro, and he had an afro on his chin and stuff too. And he was talking to some lady on the dance floor, but that lady looked like it was a guy, I'm sure. And I was like, man, I hope you don't kiss this dude, I mean, if she was a man, if she was a woman, she just looked too little, hefty little bit, And then he went over there to those girls and started dancing like he was getting busy and stuff, And they were like, well, and they started dancing with him and stuff. But still, I don't think he got any play. But still, he did what I told him. My friend had done, and they did open up to him a little bit. Then I went to the bathroom. I don't know how many times. I didn't have any alcohol. No. Before I left the first club, this one guy gave me a beer. And this is like going way too long. This one guy gave me a beer. And so I drank that. But then after I just drinking Red Bull all night. Then my brother bought me a bottle of water. And then let's see what else happened after that. Let me think. Oh, so we was in the club, and it was this DJ was talking to this other girl. So one of my other friends, he was there. It was this one Asian girl. She had a nice body. She just had thin lips and stuff, but she was alright. And she looked kind of more like Chinese, like kind of a mixed Chinese-Japanese mixture to her. And so I kept saying, well, what about my friend? She was like, no. I said, what about him? She was like, no. And she got pissed. Like, damn, don't start trying to hook up these guys with me. I don't like them. No. And so she got mad and told DJ. DJ was like, oh, well, we're all together and stuff. She was like, oh, okay. It was kind of funny, though. Because if we weren't all together, I would have did that. And then, let's see what else happened. And then the girl that we went to the club with, we went from one club to another club. She took our shoes off. She was dancing barefooted. And the security guard came over. It's like, hey, you gotta put your shoes on. And she's like, all right. And then she didn't. And then he came by and he said, listen, there's glass on the floor. You're going to mess around and cut yourself. So she put her shoes back on the floor. And then so me and her was dancing and stuff again. And some brother came in there and kind of like trying to get between us. And I kind of like took my right arm. I kind of like pushed him back like, what the heck you think you doing, And I guess what it is I don't know why these little guys just always running up on me thinking I'm just go and just, let them do whatever they want. I was sick trip. I just pushed him off the way and stuff. And then we were dancing, and he was saying something to her. She kept saying no. And then finally she told him that she was with us, or with me. And then he was like, oh, I'm sorry, And stuff. I'm like, no, it's cool. I'm like, go ahead, we just friends. She wanna go with y'all, I don't care. I ain't no hater. And then so me and her was dancing. Again, there was this other Japanese guy. He was like a little about my height. And so I was holding her to her waist, and we were like kind of locked together and stuff. But her back was to me. And he was like, what did he do? He was like, he came and was trying to go, like, I'm holding this girl from behind. My arms are locked around her waist, and he gonna try to come between us. And I look at him like, and he kept persisting. I just took my arm, I pushed him, like, what are you doing? And he was like, kept trying. I'm like, man, you better go around. And he kept trying, but he wasn't being forceful. I don't know if he was playing or not, and I wasn't getting serious anyway, but I was like, man, you better quit playing, and he kept trying for like a couple of minutes. I'm like, man. So then what I did was kind of like, shuffled him in front of her so he can go by and stuff. And then what happened was, I guess he was in front of her, and then he reached around her, so they were face to face, and put his hands around me and just started dancing like if we were sandwiching her. And I was like, huh? But I didn't care because, in Japan, these guys get drunk and they just do some funny stuff. I was just laughing and stuff. And then my brother, he got behind me, and I was like, what the heck is he doing? Because he was like doing worse than what the other guy was. I was like, oh, no, don't do that. It was funny though. And so then we were going to leave. The girl was kind of a little drunk, so I went over because I told her I was going to take her home. And she was like, it was cool. But I said, we're going to go. And she was like, okay. But I think I messed up because my Japanese, and I'm messing up. But I should have said, let's go, all of us together. But I didn't. And she was like, I said, I'm going. And so she kind of looked at me and was like, oh, okay, bye, And so, I don't know, I messed it up. And so we all left and took my road to the station, and he went home. And then I drove home, and I think last night was one of the first times I actually, I drove all the way home without falling asleep. And I got home, and took a shower, and then my son had woke up because it was like 8:15. And then my wife was up, and she was going to work, so I went to sleep. And I got a phone call from a student they were waiting outside. Still in bed. I couldn't believe that. So I had to give him like half price off today and stuff. I got there like 22 minutes late. I couldn't believe it. I was so tired. That's why I like going out when I got to work the next day. And then, that was it. So, it took me 22 minutes or however long it took to say that. And that was one day. And how many pages is that, So, you can write about your events. And some people like, well, people don't want to write about that. People, the whole thing is you don't know who's going to read about what's going to read about who, or whatever. You don't know people's interests. What might not interest one person. You might got 100 people say, oh, no one's interested in it, but you got about another 10,000 that might be. So just go on to write the books, and see what happens, because there's money to be made out there, and it's better to start trying to make money from ready available sources that you don't even need capital, or you don't need capital. And you think about those things. They will have all peace.